Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar of the Statistics and Data Science Master Program at Leiden University. I'm Garnet. I'm the moderator of the webinar today, as I'm both the PR coordinator of this program as well as the study advisor. So if you come here, you'll see me quite often. Several people have joined me today in this session: Saskia, who is our program director, and two of our students, Georgia and Max. Before we begin, I'll tell you something about the structure of today's session. First, our program director, Saskia, will give a brief introduction to the master program. Following this, two of our students will tell you about their experiences in the program. Note that you can send any questions while we're speaking. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can during this live meeting. You can send in your questions via the live chat. After the session, you can also ask any questions you may have at the information market. So be assured that there is enough time to ask any questions that you may have. Let's go to Saskia first. She is the program director of our master program and will give a brief presentation about the structure and the courses offered in the program.
Thank you, Garnet. As Garnet said, my name is Saskia Lesessi and I'm the program director of this master, and I'm going to tell you some general information. This is a master which is open to a variety of different backgrounds, and it will provide you a solid methodological basics. We also focus on applications and then in life and behavioral sciences. And here you can see some of those applications. We can focus on medical statistics, we can focus on biology, we focus on applications in agriculture, and we focus on applications in social sciences, and here you see some images of it. This is not a master given only by Leiden University, but it's given by different groups in different institutes. From Leiden University, there is the Mathematical Institute and the Faculty of Social and Behavioral Sciences, and then the group of Methodology and Statistics being involved. Also, the Leiden University Medical Center, that's the place where I am working, is involved through the Department of Biomedical Data Sciences. And there are also teachers involved from Wageningen University, from the group of biometrics. And that's not all. We also have teachers from Statistics Netherlands, the CBS, and we have teachers from Amsterdam, UMC. We are internationally renowned. We have an EMOS label, so we are a European Master of Official Statistics. And so, that means that if you are following this master, you will meet many researchers and instructors, and they are experts on many different fields in statistics and data science. What will you learn in our master? Well, actually, you will learn more than just applying methods. You will also learn to understand them. So you will get a thorough basics of statistics and data science methods. You will also get extensive skills to apply the methods, to analyze data. And also, because you understand the essentials of it, you will also have the ability to invent new methods or to apply new models and techniques to data. And that means that you will be able, at the end of our master, to apply statistics and data science in many different fields. We have students with a variety in backgrounds. First of all, a variety in backgrounds of bachelors which they have done. We have students with a more applied bachelor, like psychology, biomedical sciences, biology, agricultural, medicine. And we have students with a more quantitative bachelor, like statistics, econometrics, and mathematics. So we are open to a variety of different backgrounds of students. And we also have students from all over the world. We are a very international master, and that makes also our master so nice, that we have so many different students with different backgrounds, but united in the sense that we all love statistics and data science. You may wonder, am I a good candidate for this master? Should I apply for this master? And actually, you are a good candidate if, first of all, you should like statistics and math, because they are the foundation of all the methods in statistics and data science we are going to learn how to apply it. You should also like to work with computers, because we are not a purely theoretical master, we apply the methods to a lot of data sets, and that means a lot of programming. Most of the time we use a special programming language which is called R. You should have interest in applications in life and behavioral sciences because those are the main fields of applications we are looking at. And you should also, like to work in teams because being a statistician or being a data scientist is often a multidisciplinary effort. You work with many people from different directions together, and that means that you should like to work with others and communicate also with people who are not statisticians or data scientists. That also means that a good knowledge of English is important because you should be able to communicate to your peers, students, and also to teachers and to others. I'm also going to tell you what we are not. And we are not a master in financial, we are not a financial master. So we're not a master in financial analytics. We will not train you to become a business intelligence analyst or an engineer. And we are also not a computer science master. Actually, also in Leiden University, Department of Computer Science has a track on data science. So if you are interested in computer science, you can also go and see what that track holds. So this is what we are not. I've listed here the entry requirements. So actually, what I already said, students are welcome from a lot of different bachelors. We have some requirements that you have a basic knowledge of calculus. For the students of the Netherlands, that means wiskunde B. You would have a bachelor degree from a research university. You would have to follow some courses regarding statistics and or methodology, and some courses, maybe also some courses on mathematics. And the degrees, the marks should be high enough. And we ask also to be good enough in English to communicate with all others. There are also some English requirements. Note this is you can find all the latest requirements on our website. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the program. Actually, we start all together, and the first semester are core courses. And then the second and the third semester, that's a combination of mandatory courses and elective courses. And then at the fourth semester, you end with a thesis project. Let's tell a little bit about the details. Well, in the first semester, there are the core courses, which gives you the fundamentals of the foundation of statistics and data science. So that's more some mathematics, some statistics and probability, computing with R, that's that program language, and also we will see some statistics and data science in practice. Then in the second and third semester, that's a combination of mandatory and elective courses. And you can choose the combination of courses in a coherent way because we have defined some learning lines. And you can use these learning lines to think about in which field you would like to specialize, a field of application or a field of research interest. So we give you some guidance. I'm going to show you that. For the second semester of the first year and the first semester of the second year, there are some mandatory courses. And then you can say, okay, I like medical statistics. Then in the second semester of the first year, you follow the course of survival analysis. And in the first semester of the second year, high-dimensional data and statistical genetics and some other courses. If you are interested in biostatistics for biology or for agricultural applications, then you choose in the second semester design and analysis of biological experiments. And then in the first semester of the second year, also high-dimensional data analysis and statistical genetics. You could be interested in our EMOS track, that's to become in official statistics, that's statistics being used by governmental organizations. And then in the second semester, you could follow the course of survey methodology. And then in the first semester of the second year, you can follow the EMOS core module. And you could be interested specifically in data science. Then you follow a course in the second semester on data visualization, and then advances in data mining and deep learning or other courses. And then you could be interested in applications in psychology or in sociology, in the social sciences, and then you follow survey methodology and psychometrics and structural equation modeling, and also multivariate and multidimensional data analysis, and also some other electives. So this is in a nutshell our program. I want to highlight some courses. That's in the third semester, that's our course, which is mandatory for everyone. It's called Statistical Consulting. And then students in pair, they carry out a statistical consultation project, and real researchers from different fields are involved. They have real questions, and you and with some other students together, you have to work on those questions. First find out what the questions are, then think about the best way to solve the questions with statistics, data science, etc. And then also communicate back to the researchers to tell what the results are. In the last semester, that's what we call the thesis project. And there are a lot of different options. You could choose to write a more academic thesis on a methodological topic, but you could also think of carrying out a more applied project, either inside of university or outside of university, a project where a non-standard data analysis is carried out. I want to stress that starting in September is ideal, because I showed you the whole program, and you see we really have, there's really a line in it. The first semester is just the foundation, and the second semester is mandatory courses, and starting to choose some elective courses, etc., etc. And it's more complex to start in February, because then we have to think of a kind of programs, especially for you. So we would advise not to start in February unless you have already a very solid background in mathematics, because then you already have that foundation which is needed to follow the courses in the second and third semester. The future. The future is rather bright, because for statistics and data science there are at the moment very good job opportunities, because there is a large demand of applied statisticians and data scientists. And actually in the US in 2021, data scientist was ranked #1 best job, and statistician was ranked #3 best job. So that's promising for you, and I completely agree with it, because I'm already a statistician for already many, many years, and I still like to be one. So it's a nice job, I think. Our students qualify for jobs, and they go to a wide area of working fields. Quite some students of us continue in academics. They do a PhD at a certain university. Students go to industry. We have students going to pharmaceutical industry. We have students going to agricultural industry, food industry, Danone. We have students going to research institutes outside of university, government statistics, the CBS, non-governmental institutes. They go to consulting companies, etc., etc. So there is a large variety of jobs you could look at and apply for and work on later after this master. I think this is what I wanted to tell to you, so thank you for listening. Please ask all the questions in the chat, and I'm now giving the floor back to Garnet.
Yes, well, thank you very much, Saskia. And as mentioned, before we continue on to the next part of the webinar, I would like to remind our viewers that if you do have any questions, to please submit them via the live chat. Let's go now to the second part, our students. We'll start with Georgia. She is a first-year student from Italy who did her bachelor's in statistics in Milan. Georgia, what aspects of this master interested you beforehand?
Yes, so as you already said, I did my bachelor already in statistics. So I really wanted to continue with statistics, but I also wanted to add something new. And what I really liked about this master program is that you have a lot of choices, which Saskia already pointed out in the presentation. But also, as the first semester, you only have mandatory courses. So if you don't know beforehand what you want to specialize in, you can choose during the first semester, and you can also talk to a lot of second-year students, because it's very easy to get in touch with them and ask them what their experience was, and then you can choose what fits the best to your interest during the first semester. And I really liked it because I'm not sure yet what I like the most, so that I really liked also when I was looking to the masters.
Great, thank you. And could you comment on how challenging you're finding this master?
Yeah, so for now I can only talk about the first semester courses, and I think if you come from bachelor in maybe psychology, we have a lot of students in our master, in my year, that come from psychology. Maybe it's a little bit more challenging in the beginning because they're not very used to the mathematical courses. But if you come from a mathematical bachelor or statistical, I think it's a little bit easier probably in the beginning. I don't know how it's going to be in the next semesters, but for now it's like this. But still, even if it's a little bit more challenging, professors they know that we come from different backgrounds, so they do a lot to help us, and they don't give anything for granted, which is really nice. And you can do a lot of exercises and ask a lot of people if you have questions. So I think it's still doable, even if it's maybe a little bit more challenging in the beginning.
Great, well, thank you for the explanation. How does it feel to be an international student here in Leiden?
Okay, that's very nice. I like Leiden a lot, and the university does a lot of things to help international students because they start with the hour week, for example, which I really recommend because you get to know a lot of international students. And apart from the university that organizes a lot of things, there are also a lot of associations like ESN, for example, and they also organize a lot of events for international students. So I don't think you would ever feel alone, or it's very easy to get to know people. And also, if you speak English, it's fine. I mean, it's nice if you also speak Dutch, but everyone speaks English. So that's also very helpful.
Given that in your year there are many international students and students from many different academic backgrounds, how are you finding the learning culture, so to speak, here?
Yes, so I think it really helps that everyone comes from different backgrounds because you have always people that know something that you maybe don't know, so you always have someone that you can ask, and everyone is they like to help, so you can always ask people, and it's very easy to find your working group and your study group. Also, we get a lot of assignments and group work, so it's easy to find people you can study with, and everyone is very kind, so it's a very nice and motivating study environment. I really like that about this program, and yeah, it's very nice.
All right, well, thank you very much, Georgia.
You're welcome.
Let's move on to Max. He is currently working on his thesis. He's from the UK and did his bachelor in physics. So what expectations did you have for this master, and have they been realized?
Yeah, so I had quite a functional expectations of the masters. I came here because I wanted to learn more. I wanted to extend my skills. Like I said, I'm from physics background, so I'm kind of comfortable and used to maths, statistics, and coding. But I kind of wanted to extend those because I've primarily been taught from a physics perspective how to use those skills. And I have. I've those expectations have been met. I've learned R, I've learned SQL, and I've also extended my Python skills. I've learned a bunch of new statistical models and techniques and machine learning models. So yes, overall I have.
Great. Do you have any tips or advice for prospective students who are considering joining this master program?
Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate when you're applying, and apply sooner rather than later. So you can easily look through the curriculum. I think it's very common to look through the curriculum and not understand what every single course is about. But you've got to remember you're here to learn what those courses are about and what the content of those courses are. As Saskia mentioned, you just got to have a passion for maths, working with computers and statistics, and then you'll learn that. And also apply sooner than later, especially if you're an international student. Once you get the acceptance letter, there's still a lot of work to do. Leiden's really good at helping you to move here, but there is a lot of steps, and the more time you have, the less stress you're going to have.
Wonderful, yes. You're currently working on your thesis project. Could you tell us a bit about your project?
Yes, so it's actually, I've got a supervisor from the computer science department and another one here in the Mathematical Institute, and it's divided into two parts. And it's a bit different to what most students here are doing. I'd like to add that as a pretext. But so the first step, I am using a neural network to generate text in the medical domain. So I'm using a neural network called GPT-2 that's creating medical text. And in the second part, I am analysing this text. I'm coming from a statistical approach and looking at how the model is and the quality of data that is being produced. And that's where the statistics comes in.
Oh, that sounds very intense. Do you have any plans for once you graduate?
Yes, so hopefully I'm graduating soon, and I'm looking to stay here in the Netherlands. So I'm applying to jobs here. And I think this is another thing that Saskia mentioned is really being useful to have such a broad range in our masters that I've been actually able to pick which jobs and from a variety of industries and job titles. You know, there is data scientists, there's statisticians, but there's many different titles in between, and there's so many industries, and I've really been able to pick and choose between those.
Great. Thank you very much, Max. For this next part, we'll move on to some of our questions from our viewers. So the first question I see is, what is the main difference between this master program and the computer science master program with data science, with the data science track? Perhaps Saskia, you could answer that?
I can answer that. We focus also on statistics. I think the course I mentioned, the statistical consulting course, it's a course which we do have, and the computer science program, data science track, does not have. So the data science track of the computer science is more focused on programming. They also have a somewhat larger thesis writing time than we do, as I'm not mistaken, I thought they have. But the main differences are that we focus also on communication skills like that statistical consulting, and also have some courses really focusing on statistics.
All right. Another question. It was mentioned that this program is a collaboration between Leiden and other universities. Will all the lectures take place here in Leiden?
Yes, they do. And a lot of them are in the Leiden University or in the Leiden University Medical Center. We let the teachers travel and not the students, so don't worry about that. Almost all the lectures take place in Leiden, yeah. Although you can do your thesis, but that's up to you then. There are students who are doing their thesis project in Wageningen.
Great. Perhaps this next question is good for Max to answer. Will you learn about big data and machine learning in this program?
It depends how you define both of those. I've worked on very large data sets. My thesis has a very large data set involved. And the second part, machine learning. Again, it depends how you define that. As what machine learning is. But I would say you would, especially if you follow the data science course. You have the electives where you can really choose, and there certainly is machine learning involved.
Yes, indeed. I should point out that the pre-approved electives that you'll see on our online perspectives are not the only ones that you are able to follow. You are also able to take electives from other departments, such as those from the computer science department. You just need approval from our board of examiners for that. This next question is for Saskia, I believe. I personally come from a business economics background, and I've been applying my knowledge for business purposes. Would you still recommend this master program for me? Because it seems to me that the specializations inside the program are mainly for biology and psychology students.
Yes, you are right about that. We focus on biology and psychology. So if you want to follow a master in order to get more knowledge for business purposes, then there are other masters in the Netherlands or outside of the Netherlands which probably are more suitable for you.
Great. How strong is the GPA requirement for this for the bachelors that are coming into our master program? Is there a way of starting with a slightly lower average?
If you have a slightly lower average, then you should write a letter to the Board of Admissioners. And they will have a look at how motivated you are and what kind of courses you followed, and also what the actual GPA is. And based on that, they will decide whether they allow you to follow it or not.
Indeed. And for graduates of this program who want to do a PhD, what fields are typically pursued?
That depends on the different directions. And we have, in our own department, I'm working at the Leiden University Medical Center. We have students and doing a PhD who followed our master, and most of them followed the courses specifically for the medical direction. They followed survival analysis, for example. But if you want to go into psychology, you can follow other courses. And there are also students who first did our master and then did a PhD in the Mathematical Institute. So I think it depends on what your interests are, and you will meet the teachers and ask about it and see the courses you are in the first semester. You get already, because we have statistics and data science in practice, you get already an idea of the different fields. Yeah, and then think about what kind of fields are your main interest. So there are PhD students of our program in a lot of different fields.
For this next question, perhaps Georgia could answer it. Do you find that you need a lot of programming knowledge to succeed in this program?
I would not say so, because we start from the very basics. We have now a course which is R, like programming with R, and they really start from the basics. So I think even if you don't have a lot of knowledge, you can still apply for this master. And yeah, you can choose the courses that are for beginners. And there are also a lot of people that are used to programming, so you can always ask also them for help. And yeah, so I think it's fine if you don't have a lot of knowledge in programming.
Back to the entry requirements for Saskia. If somebody only followed Wiskunde A in their middle school, is it necessary to pass the state exam in Wiskunde B to be able to get in or to apply?
No, because we're not looking at your diplomas, your diplomas in high school. But we have this requirement because if you have not followed enough math and not learned the skills of Wiskunde B in the high school, which is more technical than Wiskunde A, then it will be difficult for you. So I think it depends very much on what kind of bachelor you are doing. If you're doing a bachelor where you have some courses on mathematics, so that then there is not a problem. But if you haven't followed any of those courses, then yeah, you have to. Maybe you can look at our website, because we also have some lectures recorded from different teachers. And look a little bit about the content and see if you feel this is suitable for you.
Thank you. And I suppose this is also relevant for international students to demonstrate their mathematics knowledge. Is there any kind of tests that you would recognize, or does your advice also apply to them?
We don't have any test. We are still thinking of having a kind of test to see if you have enough background knowledge. So I would also advise you to look at the videos we have on our website and see if you can follow the lectures being given.
Indeed. Yes, well, thank you then. Is there a difference between this master program and the methodology and statistics program in psychology?
Yeah, because it's one year longer, so that's one thing. And we go into more details of the method. So we have that course on mathematics, and so I think we are going more into detail, more into the fundamentals. So it's and so it's 2 years instead of 1 year. So you learn more of the methods than when you're doing the psychology track, the methods in psychology track. I think that's the main difference. But a lot of those teachers who are teaching also in that particular program are also teaching in our program.
This next question is, if I have a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, should the average mark of all my courses be at least a 7.5, or just the average mark of the courses with the best grades that compile at least 20 ECT?
Ooh, I don't know how exactly that is being done.
So perhaps I could comment on that briefly then. So indeed, when we look at the average grade, we only consider the courses that fall under the mathematics, statistics, or methodology course categories. So it's not that your entire average has to be 7.5, just the average of the relevant courses. Perhaps one of our students could answer this. Is there a possibility to go abroad in this master program? Have any of you spoken with anyone who has gone abroad, or are aware of anyone that's done this?
Yes, I know. I spoke to one girl in the second year of her master, and she's going to Malaysia, I think, in the second semester. So there are a lot of universities that, I don't know how to say, like the partner universities, that's, that's the word. So you can go to a lot of places. I also looked into it, and you can go, obviously in Europe there are a lot, but also if you want to go outside of Europe, I think I saw Canada, the US, Australia, Singapore. So I think there are a lot of opportunities to go abroad. And I think the deadline to apply, if you want to go in the second year, is in December, right? From the first semester? Yeah.
I can add a little bit to that, because you can do your thesis project outside of the Netherlands. We have currently a student sitting in Berlin and a student sitting in Scotland. So that's an opportunity, and there are also some possibilities to follow some courses, but that's not that often done. So I think most of our students who are going abroad when they're doing their thesis project, and that's allowed.
Are you able to apply for this program with a bachelor's in mathematics?
Yes, you can. Yep, because then you fulfill the criteria. Yep.
Absolutely. And how common is it for students to need to complete a pre-master's program before admission? And what are the most commonly prescribed pre-master subjects?
We don't have a pre-master for this program. So if you are fulfilling the requirements, then you can come and enter our master.
Yes. For the next question, I have a question regarding the personal background. I've studied political science, international relationships. In what forms will I be able to address this background during the studies?
Okay, yeah. Shall I also answer this one? Yep. Well, we have a part on social sciences, and then specifically the methods and statistics group of psychology is being involved, but that's on the social sciences. So that's then the direction which is more targeted to your background, and you can follow, then probably follow that track. But it's also depending on what you aim to do after you have graduated. But that's what I would advise you at the moment without knowing more about you.
Yes, I see. The next question is it necessary to hand in a GMAT or GRE result as an international student, or is the GPA sufficient? Well, for this case, in fact, we don't require in any way or shape or form a GMAT or a GRE. It's only necessary to upload your transcript from your bachelor's. The next question I see is, are students from the Anton de Kom Universiteit in Suriname able to apply for this program? Yes, in principle, any students, any international students that fulfill the requirements, so you've done your bachelor at a research institution abroad, and then you're certainly able and welcome to apply to this program. Georgia, for the next question is, how is the workload in terms of the hours spent in class and the time that you have to actually study, and also for your personal time? Do you find that there's a good balance there?
So I think the good thing about this program is that we have, the courses are very focused. So also in the first semester, we don't have all the courses from the beginning to the end of the semester, but we have blocks, which is really nice because you don't have a lot of courses at the same time. And also, we usually have 4 hours a day of a lecture, and it's usually divided in 2 hours of theory and then 2 hours of exercises. So if you go to all the lectures and then stay also for the exercises, I think that the workload that you have to do at home is not that big. I mean, of course, you also have to study at home, but it's, I think, very balanced. And then there are some assignments you have to do, and of course, there it depends on how you manage your time and how fast you are. But I think in general, you also have free time. It's not that you are always studying, but then again, it also really depends on your background, because I think if you didn't do maths in the bachelor, then maybe you have to work a little bit more for those courses. But in general, I think it's very balanced. Yeah.
And are you able to follow your courses online? Are the lectures recorded for you?
Yes, a lot of lectures, almost every lecture I think is recorded, but not every lecture is live streamed. So some lectures are recorded and then they put it online, but they always recommend to go to the lectures because it's better, but you can always watch them online afterwards, or some of them are also live streamed. Yeah. And for me, for example, because for now I live in The Hague, and sometimes the trains are not going, and then that's really nice. The professors always take that into account. So if there are problems with the transports, then usually they do live streams.
Yes. I see the next question is, how many students do we have per year? Well, I can tell you now that we have around 80 total, so that's September and February intake. But perhaps, Max, you could tell us how large your classes are and how many students you actually have in a given class.
I had quite a few online, so it's, I'm not sure if we ever all met in person, but it really depends. So the core modules certainly have up towards those 80 people, but then you have some of the electives can have a lot smaller classrooms, and that's really nice because you have lots of opportunities to ask the teacher questions, and yeah, it's more of a nice close-knit environment.
Yes. Saskia, are there internship opportunities within the master?
We have the thesis project, which is at the last semester of the master, and that's a project where you write a thesis, but you can do that outside of university. So you can also do that on an applied topic. So we have students going to pharmaceutical companies or students going to central statistics. So you can do it also outside of university, and and in that sense, you can call that a kind of internship. But we ask you all to, also if you're going outside of university, to work on a non-standard data analysis. So that's an applied part, but you have to write a thesis about it.
For this next question, it comes from somebody who's about to graduate with a degree in psychology at Leiden, perhaps without enough knowledge in calculus, but more in the statistics courses that are offered in the psychology bachelor. Is that enough to be considered for admission to the program?
Yes, I think so. Yes, I know so. Because psychology has enough statistics courses in the bachelor to come to that 20 EC, so you are allowed to come. So that's enough to be considered, but you have to be careful to think about how was your calculus when you were on high school, and do you like it enough? Because it's in a way, it's different from how statistics is being used in psychology. There you learn to apply it, to using SPSS or R, but to apply the methods. And we also focus on understanding exactly how the methods are working and what is underneath it. So it's more, more model-based, more also the foundations of the methods being used. But yes, you are allowed to come to our master. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Max, now that you've pretty much finished the program and are working on your thesis, how did you find the workload in general? Do you know of anyone, for example, that worked part-time during their masters?
So the workload in general is quite nice and balanced. You do certainly get time to have a social life, and I think the professors always stress that, which is very nice. I know it's very common to there's opportunities to work either as a mentor or even a teaching assistant's role, certainly in the second year. I did that personally. It's not too many hours, but it technically is a part-time job. I wouldn't want to do too many more hours than that. I think it was about 6 to 8 hours a week. If you're doing much more than that, then I think your studies may be affected.
Yes, and you also came from a more mathematics, physics background. What would you say the hardest part of the program was for you then?
I think there's, I certainly came back from a physics background. There's still a lot of theory. Certainly, that you look at a linear algebra course, and you may think that's kind of simple, but it's 9 credits, and you go into a lot of detail. So it's certainly not, I wouldn't overlook it. There's also many electives you can choose, which can really push your boundaries of what you know. I've taken a few from the computer science course department, such as the Introduction to Deep Learning, and that's certainly pushed me to the limits of what I know.
Saskia, the next question is for you, I think. Does this program differ if you start in February versus starting in September?
Yes, and that's why I said please start in September, because the general program starts in September, and then you get that basics, and then you get the mixture of the mandatory and the elective courses. So if you start in September, you really follow the program as it is intended to be followed. If you come into February, then you will get an intake meeting with Garnet, and then looking back on your background, and then we decide which courses you can follow in the second semester. And so that's less a program how we intended to give it to students, how we made it. So that's why we say, okay, if you can choose, then please go in and come into September, because then you follow the program as it was intended to how we made it.
Another viewer asks if they're able to visit the Masters for a Day, such as a Student for a Day program. I can tell you that, yes, this is possible. If you send an email to pr@stat.leidenuniv.nl, then we're always able to organize a day where you can accompany one of our 2 PR students or another first-year student and see what courses they follow and how their day looks. Georgia, this next question is perhaps for you and your interactions with upper year students. Do you find that the upper year students, do you interact with them a lot, and do you find that they're there if you have any questions for them?
Yes, a lot. This is actually one of the parts that I really like about this university, that in general, students within the program are very connected. It's very easy to get to know people from the second year, which I didn't have a lot in my bachelor, so I really like that, because the master program itself organizes a lot of things, and they really put a high focus on that students can get to know each other, so from the different years, and also to get to know a lot of professors and PhD students. So that's very easy, and everyone is super kind, so you can always ask questions. And if you have specific questions, you can also always email at the email address you said before. And so it's very easy, and it's very helpful, because then you can also hear from them how certain courses are if you're not super sure which one to choose. So, yeah.
Indeed, yes. We do have an official mentor program as well. So every first-year student is assigned to a mentor group that's led by an upper-year student. It's optional, of course, but it's a great way to get to know others in the program and to hear from an upper-year student. Saskia, this next question, I believe, is best answered by you. It says, my bachelor's degree is heavy on statistics, both theory and practice, but a slightly less differential equations and optimization than someone with a maths degree, and less coding than a computer science degree. Would this be a suitable background for the program?
Yes, it will, because we are a master in statistics and data science. So, and we also ask, students can also apply when they don't have a statistics bachelor. So you will definitely, your background is enough to follow it. We are not a master on mathematical statistics or very technical, and also, we do not code that much as a computer science master. So yes, your background is perfect. Yeah, suitable, definitely.
Now, are there job opportunities within the university? Perhaps you could comment on your time as a teaching assistant.
Yeah, so the teaching assistant role was within the university. Certainly when you come to second year, each of the courses in the first year require a teaching assistant or 2. And students who have taken those courses can apply, and they get paid for that. I think there may be restrictions if you're non-EU student, I don't know, but if there is opportunities.
Yes. Max, has your career perception or your career goals, have they changed since the start of the program and since now when you're graduating?
Not particularly. I had quite an open mind when I came here. I didn't really have a particular industry or job that I was really hoping to get, but it's certainly welcomed that as I've come to the end of the Masters that there are still a lot of opportunities that I can take, and that is really good, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes, thank you. Saskia, if people don't have a stronger mathematics or statistics background, is there anything that they can do beforehand, any advice that you would give them if they do want to follow the Masters but are a bit concerned?
Well, if you want to work on your math beforehand, then there are a lot of videos online, and one set of videos which are very, very nice to learn the basics of math are the 3 blue, 1 brown videos. There are nice videos on linear algebra, and there's nice videos on calculus. So if you want to have see about the basics of mathematics, you want to apply practice a little bit on that, then go and look at those videos.
All right, well, I'm afraid we're all out of time now for additional questions, so thank you very much for joining. If we haven't been able to answer your question, then please ask it via the live chat. We are available to answer any questions until 4:30 today. And of course, you can always email us with any questions via pr@stat.leidenuniv.nl or the Unibuddy system on our official website if you have a question for the current students. Furthermore, it's also possible, as I mentioned, to visit the university and to experience one day as a student in our Masters. You'll be accompanied by one of our current students, and you can go to different lectures and get a first-hand experience. If you're interested in this, you can also use our pr@stat.leidenuniv.nl email. Thank you very much.